Today I'll be ranking every team's best point guard in franchise history, with the rules being players cannot be picked more than once and they've had to stay with that team for more than 4 years. Now we'll be ranking them off of, their whole career, not just what they did for that one team. So players that only had 3 prime years with one team like Derrick Rose aren't at the very top of the list. Starting with Indiana Pacers, Mark Jackson, he was top 5 in assists and he was second overall in assists when he retired, but he bounced around the league a lot and he played in a weaker era. He had the talent, he just never stayed anywhere to gain a footing. He never had any playoff success before this. He never stayed with the team for more than 3 years, other than the one that drafted him. And when he returned to Indiana, it gave him 5 years playing total. It's the only way he actually even made the list. Number 29, Ricky Rubio. Minnesota Timberwolves only really have him. You have to remember Anthony Edwards isn't a point guard. Number 28, Miami Heat, Goran Dragic. While very good, I cannot fathom him being a star. I'm really trying to think of something right now as I'm writing this, but I just can't. To me, he'll always be, just a point guard on 2K14 that I forget exists. Number 27 for the Dallas Mavericks, I have Derek Harper. Jason Kidd and Steve Nash were already taken. Number 26, the New Orleans Pelicans, I have Chris Paul. Chris Paul is one of the biggest frauds in the NBA. This guy fucking sucks in the playoffs. He's just a constant letdown. He's never won anything for a good reason. He just shrivels up. We all remember him and Devin Booker contributing nothing against that Game 7 in Dallas, right? Houston Rockets, Calvin Murphy. Now, I know he's under 6 feet tall, but he has one of the best arguments for being the best player ever under 6 feet tall. He led the Rockets in scoring before Hakeem and Harden. He just played so long ago before the Rockets ever got any major pieces that never contributed into it, really anything huge, but he was still an amazing player. He was just on a very small Rockets team at the time, which held him back. Charlotte Hornets, Kemba Walker. He's a poor man's Kyrie. Los Angeles Clippers, Ron Harper. Now, I know CP3 fans are absolutely going to hate this, but let's just look at the stats here. Chris Paul, 0 championships. Ron Harper, 5. Now, just like Chris Paul, he played his prime years at the Clippers and then bounced around the league, where he did win 5 championships teaming up with Jordan and Pippen and Shaq and Kobe, where Chris Paul played with players like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and more, and never won anything. So, they had identical careers, but one turned out successful and one didn't. So why would anyone ever pick Chris Paul as their best point guard ever when, Ron Harper had the same career, but it was actually successful? Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young. It was him or Jeff Teague. Up next, Tiny Archibald. He spent most of his prime with the Kings, and he won a scoring title and led the league in assists one year. Only player to ever do that, but he's so low on the list because he only got his playoff success with Larry Bird, and he spent most of his prime where half the talent didn't even play in the NBA, and he didn't win any championships without, riding under Larry Bird's coattails in his second year. So, I cannot look past that and rank him any higher. Number 20, Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant. Now, when he was starting in his career, I felt like, sky was the limit for this guy. But with all of his off-court activities and now him wanting to get traded, the window's closing and he still has time to succeed, but you have other, dynamic guards like Luka and, you have Anthony Edwards, and they're all finding some success. But if Ja Morant doesn't sort this out soon, he's going to be a very big cautionary tale, and I don't believe he deserves that. He's a good enough player to be a superstar, but he just won't let himself be one. Up next, Denver Nuggets, Fat Lever. He walks so Westbrook could run. These are both all-around good guards. They have high triple-double numbers. He could do it really anything on the floor. He just never really got an opportunity to shine in the playoffs, mainly because, his teams were just not really stacked in an era where 3 or 4 different teams owned the era. You had the Celtics, Lakers, and then it became the Pistons, and then it was the, Jordan Bulls, where other teams like this never really got the shine, even though they had talented players like this guy. The 76ers, Allen Iverson. Now, I know I'm going to get some comments talking about, he was a shooting guard. Well, he played a good amount of point guard, and let's be honest. Who else are you going to pick? Drew Holiday or Maurice Cheeks? They're not really, franchise Hall of Fame players. Neither of them are. He gave Kobe his easiest ring. That's really the only thing in the playoffs Allen Iverson ever did. And let's be honest here. I mean, he wasn't as good as y'all think he is. I mean, he was just low efficiency, high output. He did more for the culture than he ever did on the court. I mean, the amount of glazing and overrating that this guy gets is insane. Number 17, Chicago Bulls, Derrick Rose. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. If he never got injured, he'd be in the top 5. But we can't play the what-if game because a lot of different things would be different. Zion Williamson would be a 2-time MVP if we played the what-if game. But his career averages were low after the injury, so I can't rank him any higher. But I can base this mainly off his prime. He was everything that they professed him to be. I mean, he was a very good player. And if he got just 1 or 2 more years, you could have probably seen a championship out of him, or at least a very deep playoff run. But we'll just never know with him. I mean, he was the youngest MVP of all time, one of the most fun players I've ever watched. I mean, there's just not much you can say to discredit him that's his own fault. Number 16, Orlando Magic, Penny Hardaway. Hardaway was the Derrick Rose before Derrick Rose. He was still an above-average player after the injuries, but he was nowhere near the force he was before the injuries. I mean, he was league-ready from the start. In his second season, he helped bring down Michael Jordan in the conference finals. Then Shaq leaving Orlando and him never really fully recovering from ankle injuries or the injuries he had in his feet just left him, as an above-average guard that slowly dwindled out, leaving him here at the number 16 spot. Number 15, Washington Wizards. That is right. This is a Gilbert Arenas household here. I don't care about John Wall. And I know Kobe fans don't like to admit, but Arenas really makes them sad. I mean, let's look at what happened in 2004 where he put up 37 and then 35 points against Kobe. And then in 2006, he dropped the 60 on him. And then they went back to D.C., he put up another 35. I mean, this guy was Kobe's biggest nightmare. He averaged 32 points a night when they matched up with each other when he was at the Wizards. I mean, Agent Zero cut his career short doing Ja Morant activities and bouncing around the league like the bad check you gave your landlord. But I promise you, in his prime, he's a top 15 point guard of all time. Number 14, Toronto Raptors, Kyle Lowry. Now, if you asked me what Tony Parker would be without the San Antonio Spurs, this is how his career would have ended up. I mean, he probably got in a ring or two and the same amount of accolades, with All-NBA third team and maybe a second team in there too and a few All-Star appearances. But, I mean, if we're being honest, the talent is there, but he played for a small market team that never really gave him much of a spotlight or much help until they gave him Kawhi towards the end of his career, and he bounced around a little bit. Number 13, Russell Westbrook. Now, Mr. Triple-Double has ruined the stat of the triple-double over his years. He was a great regular season player. He never found much playoff success other than, losing a 3-1 lead to the Warriors and losing Kevin Durant after that. But Westbrook was an all-around great player, high output, decent efficiency. He wasn't the most efficient, but he was a great scorer. Recently, teams have misused his talents, I feel like. But now he's with the Kings. I feel like he's in a good spot, and he can go back to being, a really good role player. And he'll never be a superstar again, obviously. It's too late in his career, but it's good to see him, doing good and playing to his full potential. And I'm just happy to see that. Up next, Portland, Damian Lillard. Now, he was the 2013 Rookie of the Year, and he would have been great really anywhere, but instead, he got stuck with Portland and decided to stay there. Now, he got away and got to go to the Bucks for 2 years, but after an injury, they were, just pushed him out to a pack of wolves, and Portland's like, oh, we're willing to let you come back, and, this has really ruined his career. I mean, him being at Portland, loyalty, cool, it's good that players are loyal. But honestly, at what extent does it start harming this player's legacy? I feel like he had the talent to be up there with Curry, Magic, and the other point guards that are at the top 5 of this list. Because where he stayed at for the majority of his prime years, I mean, he's down here at the 12th spot when we all know he has the talent to be as good as, better. He's better than most of the guys on the top of this list. I mean, he's really good. He just got stuck in a terrible environment where he couldn't win. Number 11, Jason Kidd with the Brooklyn Nets. Role model husband, Jason Kidd, with over 19 seasons, he only got one ring, but he was playing at a very hard time. He was a great player. He had over 12,000 assists and 2,600 steals. He was a really good defensive guard with amazing playmaking. It's just he did not really, in his prime, get enough chance to actually go out and win on a Brooklyn Nets team, sadly, which puts him at number 11. Yeah, that's right. I'm not picking Jalen Brunson. No, 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 no. Because he's going to be the next James Harden. Now, the last time the Knicks were a winning franchise was under this guy, Walt Frazier. Now, he averaged 19 points a game for his career, 6 assists. But what did he actually do that was meaningful for the Knicks? He won them their last 2 championships. The last one they won was in 1973, led by this man right here. They haven't won one since, so for the Knicks, I feel like this is their best all-time player ever. Yes, I know Patrick Ewing played there, but he didn't win anything. Up next, I have Steve Nash with the Phoenix Suns. Now, Nash lately has been very fantasized about on how good he really was, but let's just be honest. He was not Jesus. He never won anything in the playoffs. He wasn't the best player in the NBA for his MVPs. He went ring chasing with Kobe and never went to the finals. He hung on Dirk and Kobe's coattails for nothing. And as good as he was during the regular season, he barely made it on top 10 of my list. So, I don't know. I feel like you need actual playoff success to go any higher. Up next, I have a tie. So technically, it's not 30 players, but with the Milwaukee Bucks, I have it tied up with Sidney Moncrief and Oscar Robinson, mainly because Moncrief had the better career in terms of longevity and, output and production, but Oscar Robinson played second fiddle to Kareem and won a championship while Moncrief never won anything. And that just brings me to a tie with these two players because they both have great legacies and they're both very special players, and I can't pick between one and the other on this one at all. Up next, Tony Parker with the Spurs. Now with 4 rings, 1 Finals MVP, and a long career of high-level basketball, excluding his season with the Hornets. With his accomplishments, you might wonder why he's 7th place on the list. Well, Tony Parker's a system player. I don't think he would have gotten the success without being on the Spurs. He would have had a career similar to Kyle Lowry, I think, if he played on any other team. He was very much, his success was a product of the Spurs. The Spurs probably don't win 4 rings without Tony Parker, but they still will probably win 2 or 3. A little bit of the success you can contribute to him, I guess, but not really much of it. John Stockton and the Utah Jazz. Now, John Stockton was as pure as a point guard as it gets, with the most assists ever. And, he was a perimeter threat for offenses. He was a great defender. His main problem was he just didn't shoot enough. I mean, he just was too pure of a point guard, and it put his own team at a deficit, especially in the finals where Karl Malone would drop numbers below his season average against Jordan, and the Utah Jazz would have stood a better chance if John Stockton just shot the ball just a little bit more, because he was a good shooter. He just would not shoot, and I feel like this excludes him from the top 5 on the list because he couldn't get over the mental hump that he needed to win. Up next, Detroit Pistons with Isaiah Thomas. Now, Isaiah Thomas could have been higher if he didn't find a success at the area he did, where Magic and Bird were starting to come down from their rise, and the Bulls were starting to rise up for the inevitable 6 rings that they won in the 90s. And they could have, I don't know, he had 2 good championships. He only had 1 Finals MVP because Joe Dumars decided to ball the fuck out in 1989. And, all around solid players that were on this team, but there was no bad boys Pistons without their crankshaft being Isaiah Thomas. In 4th place, Bob Cousy for the Boston Celtics. Bob would have been higher on this list, but he did his playing time in the 50s and 60s, mainly being the best guard of his time until Jerry West came in the league and the league shifted. He had 6 rings, 1 MVP, he averaged 18 points a night on 7.5 assists. For his time, he had very good ball control, second best in the league behind Jerry West, but the 13th man on the bench nowadays can do the same dribble moves as him, so you have to acknowledge that. In 3rd place, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie has the most captivating handle of all time. He has a very good jump shot. He has amazing court vision. He has amazing passes. He's a great playmaker. One of the best playmakers of all time, honestly. I know his career has been a little rocky ever since he left Cleveland, but you can't deny the skill. I mean, it's just that good. He's the best under the rim guard ever. He won or helped win the hardest ring of all time with LeBron beating Golden State Warriors after being down 3-1. I mean, he averaged 40 points in the finals for that series alone. I mean, you have to recognize these things. I know old heads will say, oh, well, I don't know if Kyrie's that good. He is. He just is. In second place, I have Steph Curry. Now, I know a lot of people want to put him at first place, but he just isn't. I mean, he has 2 real rings, 2 butt buddy rings compared to Magic's 5. Magic's rookie season has as many Finals MVPs as Curry's career. Magic has more MVPs. I mean, it's just undeniable here that Curry is, an amazing player, but he just is second best point guard all time. He isn't first. And in first place for the Los Angeles Lakers, I have Magic Johnson. Now, he's the highest in this list in terms of talent. He's the lowest in this list in terms of T-cells. Magic Johnson is the GOAT point guard. You really cannot think of careers more perfect than his. The only Finals MVP as a rookie, has 5 rings, 9 All-NBA first teams, 3 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs. He comfortably sits at the top 5 players ever. He has the best court vision ever. He took the right amount of shots, unlike Stockton. I think as a point guard, you can't get any better. This is the gold standard of point guard. There's no beating this. There'll never be anyone better. I mean, they told us Ben Simmons was going to be better than him. Really? Enjoy my list. It's all super factual and very unbiased. Drop a comment and tell me what your top 5 point guards are.